Tonight, a year on, those in the know reflect on Ariam's administration saga. And could road trains be directed along Yorkeys Crossing?
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. Today marks 1 year since Ariam went into administration, placing the future of its Whyalla operations into doubt. Southern Cross News has spoken with a number of people close to the situation to gauge their views about the last 12 months. They say while it's been tough, there are positive days ahead.
In a word, how would you describe the last 12 months for Whyalla?
Traumatic.
Uncertain.
Hectic.
A year ago, Ariam was placed into administration after a deal to refinance with GSO Capital fell through. Scott Martin from the AWU says it's been especially hard on workers whose livelihoods have been under constant threat.
I have friends up here that are struggling. You know, we live up here. I have a family here. We're in the community, we see how it affects people.
Another key factor for workers was rejecting, then voting for a 10% wage cut. Mr. Martin says while it was a bitter and difficult process, their sacrifice has been noticed by bidders.
And every one of them has been impressed with the fact that the workforce took a hit to keep the plant going. It was up there at the top of the list.
The crisis extended across town, with the report showing 800 homes on the market and 1 in 2 small businesses going bust as revenue dropped by up to 40%. Chamber of Commerce President Ron Hay says businesses have been forced to cut back.
We all look at how we can reduce our costs. Okay, and it's a very difficult period for businesses with higher electricity, rents.
State MP Eddie Hughes has been trying to avoid a similar situation to the closure of Holden in Adelaide. However, he says there were times where he thought Ariam was doomed.
It was a distinct possibility. We were facing a potential existential threat to our future here in Whyalla.
Adding to the trauma, the town lost its beloved mayor Jim Pollock, who passed away following illness. His successor Lynn Brewer says early on she had fears for the future.
There certainly was times when I thought, my goodness, what have I got myself into? And I still wake up some mornings and think that.
But out of the darkness, there's light at the end of the tunnel. 2 bidders are extremely keen on buying Ariam's operations, while new projects are slowly coming to fruition. Grey MP Rowan Ramsey and others say it's a testament to the resilience of a strong community.
We put our shoulder to the wheel and get through it, and Whyalla's done that in the past, and they'll do it this time.
Move ahead to change what we've done in the past, move ahead and make a whole new positive Whyalla.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The closure of Port Augusta's Great Western Bridge as an emergency services vehicle bypass has re-sparked calls to upgrade Yorkeys Crossing. But as state government budget time draws near, the work is unlikely to be included.
A message to the state government.
This must be a very, very high priority for their upcoming budget.
The local MP has written to the Treasurer asking him to spend money on upgrading Yorkeys Crossing so it's all-weather appropriate.
If we get 5 or 6 mils of rain, it's actually closed and becomes impassable. If that happens at the same time as the bridge is closed or impassable for some reason, then we have no vehicle access from between the east and the west side of Port Augusta.
In 2011, the state government identified 4 solutions to managing heavy vehicles through Port Augusta. The cheapest, at $45 million, was to seal the existing Yorkeys Crossing, but even that was found to be not economically justified.
Well, the government says it doesn't meet their cost-benefit analysis requirements. What I say to them is they're not factoring into that the impact upon Port Augusta and, in fact, our whole national freight network.
In a written statement to Southern Cross News, the Treasurer said he's considering a number of road projects. 23 of the 27 kilometres making up Yorkeys Crossing is council responsibility, and while money is spent every year on maintenance, sealing is not included in its 17-18 budget.
Anything to do with heavy vehicle freight should always be a council, state government and federal government joint funding proposal, but this is overwhelmingly a state government responsibility.
Lauren Rose, Southern Cross News.
Meanwhile, Port Augusta Council has identified key areas for spending in its 17-18 draft budget. Costs include repairs to Shack Road, upgrades to the grass at Gladstone Square, and $25,000 to replace the water tank at Chinnery Oval. As yet, no money has been put aside for the removal or replacement of the Great Western Bridge. The draft budget will be discussed again in council chambers on Monday night. Members of the public are welcome to attend but are unable to ask questions. Mobile phone signals in Broken Hill could soon get a whole lot stronger, with Telstra planning to upgrade their infrastructure in the region. Currently, Broken Hill has 2 mobile base stations and Telstra is now planning on installing a third.
Broken Hill is about to get a boost in its mobile signal.
Our commitment to regional Australia, and obviously towns like Broken Hill, which are critical to regional Australia, is to make sure that they all receive world's best technology.
A site at Thackaringa will receive an upgrade to 4G and 4GX in June, meaning locals on the 4G network will face less congestion. But that's not the only infrastructure upgrade Telstra is planning. There's 2 more.
We also have a new tower going up in McCulloch Street in the city, and that will be going up prior to the end of this year. And then we have another location, and we're currently just working through with council to finalise the DAs and so forth.
The 4th mobile tower is expected to be completed by June next year. The 2 new locations are part of the federal government's Mobile Black Spot program, and it means locals will have a very strong and consistent signal across the city.
Quite a bit of investment going into Broken Hill to just make sure that we're doing as much as we can to ensure that we're future-proofing the area for usage with regards to mobile technology.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news, a series of delays holds up work to finish the Port Augusta prison upgrade. The details ahead. Welcome back. The 128 beds being added to the Port Augusta prison will now not be ready until the end of the year, putting extra pressure on an already overcrowded system. The delay is being put down to bad weather, unexpected asbestos, and the discovery of bones on site.
The additional bed block at the Port Augusta prison was meant to be completed last month, but has been pushed back to the end of the year.
We'd be extremely frustrated for all those involved in the prison system to see this 6-month delay.
It was hoped the extra 128 beds would relieve the state's overcrowding. Without them, there are 3,000 approved beds in South Australia. In February, there were almost 3,100 inmates. The opposition says relying on surge beds throws staff at risk and has led to a rise in prisoner-on-prisoner assaults.
About a 50% increase from last year, and some of that has to come down to the tensions that exist when there is overcrowding in our prisons.
The Correctional Services Department said the $55 million project had been delayed due to unseasonable weather and asbestos issues, but the discovery of bones on site also stopped work, although both sides of government are confident they were from an animal.
That's being investigated and taken seriously, I think, just in case it turns out that they are something more significant.
Meanwhile, Port Augusta Council has begun considering the impact of the extra 128 prisoners and possibly their families, namely the strain on health and housing services. Lauren Rose, Southern Cross News.
Coltana will play host to the Australian Army over the weekend to help train Army reserves in their weapons systems. The Army says communities in Whyalla and Port Augusta should expect an increase in heavy vehicles and noise.
Kiltarna Army Base is fast becoming a Defence Force favourite, with its landscape perfect for training. The Army is returning to the base this weekend to train reservists in the weapons they may eventually have to use.
The intent of the weekend is to do some machine gun live fire shooting, as well as to do some heavy explosives weapons training as well.
Soldiers from the 1027 Royal South Australian Battalion will arrive Friday night and conduct drills on the Saturday and Sunday. Major Flink says it'll be a big exercise and locals could potentially witness some of the drills being conducted.
There will be a little bit of vehicle movement to get onto the range, and then some people might see those vehicles moving around.
Major Flank has asked for patience and understanding, as noise levels and traffic on the road will increase. He says the exercises are important to ensure our Army Reserve are ready for the battlefield when called to serve.
Keeping their skills up, and also for some of the new soldiers coming through to actually give them that qualification so that as Army Reservists we are ready for deployment.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A new boarding complex was opened at St Joseph's in Port Lincoln this morning. The 7-day boarding accommodation will house both male and female students from years 8 to 12, offering young people from rural communities a state-of-the-art place to stay.
New digs and a new opportunity for people to get their education close to home.
Students don't have to leave, they don't have to go to Adelaide, and they can really take advantage of staying connected to their community and remaining part of sports clubs and that kind of thing. So I couldn't be more proud of this facility and in continuing that tradition that's been in existence for many, many years.
The newly opened boarding house delivers modern housing for teenage students living at school, offering 38 freshly designed pod rooms, a considerable upgrade from previous living arrangements.
It's a lot better for us because the facilities are a lot nicer and can facilitate a lot more people than previous facilities, and it's got a lot to come for new boarders that will come in the future. Families obviously feel a lot better bringing their kids to better facilities and just a nicer environment, really.
The creature comforts making it easier for those living long distances from their families.
Coming to a new place where you don't know anyone is really hard, so to make them feel comfortable and feel like they can relax and be themselves.
St Joseph's has been boarding students in Port Lincoln since the 1920s. Today's edition a far cry from rooms of the past.
We do have a state-of-the-art facility that's up there with the best in Australia. I couldn't be more pleased with that. So students, particularly those that experienced the original boarding house, they can see the difference and they can see the investment in them, providing a family environment and the investment in their future.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
A community mural which involved people from across the generations has been launched in Port Pirie this week. Key local stakeholders organised the initiative and students from John Pirie Secondary followed through with its creation.
The students at John Pirie Secondary were proud to show off their latest artwork.
It's cool to have some of your artwork up so everyone to see.
The mural represents some of the school's main values, and the group wants the community to mirror the concept.
The group had a vision to really find a way that we could have the qualities that the students had decided on, those amazing words that we have up on the wall, but how they could just not be talked about and used in common language in our town, but also how they would be highly visible in our community.
It was funded by the council, police and a partnership between Near Star and the Lead Abatement Program. And yesterday the key contributors gathered to celebrate the hard work the students put in.
The student aspect and the collaboration in this is hugely important because it talks about ownership, it talks about pride in their work, but importantly it speaks to the 4 qualities as well.
I like the community letting us kids do stuff because it really shows that we do care about our community and we can make a change.
The large painting was installed on the corner of the police station.
And what a better place than to have it on a mural on a highly visible road in Port Pirie.
It's really exciting, it's bright colours so you can't miss it.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, a call for some relics from the past at Broken Hills Fire Station. The details ahead. Welcome back. The Broken Hill Fire Station is searching for relics of the past to display in their building. Staff are searching for items that locals may have collected over the years, like helmets, old uniforms and even old equipment. They're also looking for display cases to showcase the pieces of history.
Broken Hill Fire Station was probably one of the earliest in New South Wales, earliest permanent fire stations in New South Wales, and we think it's a really good idea to get some memorabilia happening.
Students from Broken Hill's 2 high schools met today as part of a rejuvenated youth council. They spent the day discussing the issues affecting the younger generations in the city and working out what can be done about them.
Giving a voice to the future of Broken Hill.
I believe that it is absolutely vital that in Broken Hill the voice is represented of young people, and that young people, what we want is taken into consideration when the community decision making is happening.
The meeting saw dozens of passionate students from Broken Hill High and Williama High working through key issues identified in a recent survey.
We've got lack of activities and opportunities for young people, as well as some entertainment, not enough. And we've got drug and alcohol use in young people, and we've also got mental health issues and not enough services or support.
Voicing their opinions and their views definitely will improve Broken Hill, and I guess the behaviours that people in Broken Hill are adopting.
The city's deputy mayor was a guest speaker, saying future mayors, councillors and even a premier were among the group.
They start small, they become big. It is good to see that the Youth Council is active again, and we are interested, the Broken Hill City Council is interested in the youth's point of view.
The aim is to hopefully get enough feedback and opinions from these young people to take it a step further and potentially run projects or campaigns in the city to target these issues.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
10 students from Port Lincoln are about to embark on a trip of a lifetime, visiting the region's friendship city of Maruto in Japan. The exchange program, now in its 26th year, has seen hundreds of teenagers experience a new culture half a world away.
An authentic Australian experience helping break down cultures across the globe. These lucky students are about to find out how the other half live as part of a 2-week exchange initiative that has been operating from Port Lincoln for over a quarter of a century.
We've shifted a lot of people from Port Lincoln to Maroto, and a lot of people have visited here in Port Lincoln from Maroto over those years, and a lot of friendships been formed.
The hand-picked delegates eager to experience a different country and a journey of a lifetime.
At school we do Japanese, and I just thought I'll give it a go because it seemed pretty exciting.
But the same can't be said for some anxious parents about to wave goodbye to their children for the first time.
I spoke to a few adult delegates that have been last year and the year before, and it's pretty safe, so I'm kind of confident it should be okay.
The program has seen hundreds of exchanges, a tradition that has been maintained through considerable planning.
They've probably gone through a dozen preparation sessions so far, and the last one will be tonight with the tour company, who will present the travel documents to them and just remind them of lots of safety issues.
And of course it wouldn't be an exchange without sharing a few of Australia's famous delicacies.
We've got quite a lot of things like Arnott's biscuits and Vegemite and some chocolate and Easter eggs because they don't have Easter over there.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, round 2 of Broken Hill footy this weekend as we wait for games to start in SA. Here's this week's Silver City footy tips.
Round 2 in Broken Hill football this week sees West go over the hill and play South. South are the dominating side this year. West, losing a key player in Milne last week, will certainly struggle over the hill. It'll be South easy by 40 to 50 points. The second game takes us down to the Jubilee Oval, where the Magpies have picked up some handy players this season, will play North. North, with their never-say-die attitude, will certainly be up and about. Central will give them a run, but North will be the easy winners on the day. They will win by 20 to 30 points.
Well, stay with us after the break. A look at the weekend weather. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now, and first tonight's weather photos snapped by Erin Potter out at Gladstone. This little insect here, she wasn't sure what it was called, but she's dubbed it a gumtree cricket. If you have a weather photo to share, you can email it into us and let us know if you in fact know what this bug is. Well, a mainly fine and sunny day this Friday, 32 in Port Augusta and 31 in Whyalla. Port Pirie also fairly warm. A bit of wind about Port Lincoln though. Broken Hill fine on 28. On the national satellite image, scattered cloud approaching from the Bight is set to deliver a change later in the weekend. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 20 knots and southwesterly, seas below a metre and also to the south. Sunrise is at 6:35. So a sunny and warm start to the weekend with 33 in Port Augusta and 31 in Whyalla. Port Pirie on 32 degrees, Port Lincoln fine and 24, and a sunny 31 in Broken Hill. Then we'll see quite a change brought on by these showers into Sunday. 20 in Port Lincoln and 18 for Cleve. Woodnett cloudy and 21 degrees. Whyalla also seeing a drop with a showery 20 degrees on Sunday. Port Augusta fine and 21 on Sunday. Kadina 21 also with some showers. Port Pirie also with these showers and also on 21 on Sunday, but then fine into next week. Just 17 degrees for Clare. Broken Hill seeing a 10-degree drop with a windy 21 to wrap up the weekend. And that is the local news for this Friday evening and for this week. Don't forget you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you back here on Monday night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hatfield from the news team here at Southern Cross. Enjoy your evening and have a great weekend. Good night.